Everyone, today is September 24th, 2024. It's 3 p.m. This is a City of Prescott City Council voting meeting. Mayor Pro Tem, do we have any announcements today?
Yes, we do. So let's talk about the general plan comment period. This is a reminder that the City of Prescott is seeking public comment on the draft 2025 general plan document. The required public comment period lasts 60 days, beginning September 23rd and ending on November 21st. During this time, the city will host 2 public open houses where staff and committee members will answer questions about the plan. Here's the dates. On Monday, September 30th from 3 to 6, at the Rowley Simmons Adult Center at 1280 East Rosser Street. Then there's a second one on Thursday, October 24th, 2024, from 3 to 6 at the Prescott Public Library Founders Room at 215 East Goodwin Street. A virtual meeting room has been created for the public to review the entire draft plan and provide comments. Go to planprescott.com. Citizens and also, I'm not sure what that means. Citizens and also ask. Okay, never mind. I don't know what that sentence means, but you can ask questions by emailing hello@planprescott.com. Number 2, the public safety open houses. We're continuing our series of informational public open houses about public safety in Prescott, outlining details of the proposal 478, which will be on the November ballot. These open houses will provide facts and data about Prescott's current public safety infrastructure and how proposed additional revenue will help build and staff fire stations and police facilities into the future. The open houses will feature information boards and handouts. Staff members will be available to answer questions. The next open house meeting will be Thursday, September 26th at 3 to 5 p.m. at the Prescott Police Department, located at 222 South Marina Street. And make sure when you vote, you start bottom up. I've been telling everybody, bottom up. The 478 is at the bottom, so start there and work your way up. To learn more about Prescott's public safety needs and to view documents and presentations about Proposal 478, and for a list of upcoming open house meetings, go to participateprescott.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll now have an invocation from Rabbi Susan Shannerman from the Temple Bris Shalom, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, which I'll conduct in the absence of Councilwoman Furworth.
Mayor Good and council members, Jewish folks in Prescott and around the globe will celebrate our most important holy days starting next Wednesday with Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and then 10 days later, Yom Kippur, our Day of Atonement, when we spend many hours in the synagogue, many of us fasting and praying for a healthy new year. We say Shana Tova, Happy New Year to our Jewish families and friends. May we all experience a year of peace and health and love. And now my invocation. May our minds expand to explore new ideas and consider new possibilities. May we experience what no longer is, but what now just might be. May the journey ahead be filled with joy amidst an abundance of insight, inspiration, and more than a touch of idealism. With healthy living, working, and being, thus may we fill our hearts and souls so that the journey ahead may be exciting, energizing, and filled with a sense that what we do transcends Prescott and impacts the entire world. And let us say, Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. We'll start with roll call, please.
Mayor Good,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantelmi,
I'm here.
Councilman Gambogi,
Present.
Councilman Montoya,
Still here?
Councilman Moore,
Here.
Councilmember Rusing,
Here.
and the record will reflect that Councilwoman Freeworth is excused from the meeting.
We'll now have a presentation from organizers of the Pure Imagination Festival. I hope we have enough room up here and in the chambers for all the participants, so please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, esteemed council members, and staff. My name is Candace Devine Sheridan. I am the creator and founder of the Pure Imagination Music Festival that happens at Watson Lake in May. I'm thrilled to be here today and share the Pure Imagination Festival with you and ask that at the end of my presentation, you consider moving some of my requests for support to a vote at your earliest convenience. A little bit about me so you know who's standing in front of you. I'm originally from Burbank, California. I am one of those that came here, but I've been here about a decade. My husband moved out about a year and a half before me, and my parents about 5 years before that. And we also have long-standing roots. If any of you have been through Kingman, Arizona and seen Andy Devine drive, Andy Devine is my great uncle. So we are all thrilled to be back in Arizona. We consider it a homecoming, and Prescott is most certainly home. I am a Grammy-nominated songwriter. I am a professional singer. I have worked with artists from Christina Aguilera all the way to Ringo Starr and every person and type in between. I've lent my voice to major feature films, most recently voicing Janis Joplin in the movie Jesus Revolution. And you've heard me on a number of commercials, TV shows, and representing Prescott with my band Ponderosa Grove around the country. I would like to tell you a little bit of our festival history. The reason Pure Imagination was created was because at the end of 2021, I started to observe as we were starting to come out of COVID that people had begun within our community and nationally and globally to lean into their differences more so than leaning into their commonality. I started to see people cancel and dismiss loved ones, their parents, their friends, their neighbors for their differences, whether it be political, whether it was about a mask or whether it was about distancing or a vaccine. People had forgotten how to be together. And I think we can probably all agree that music is considered the universal language, and it's something that I can say that I do wholeheartedly from top to bottom. So it dawned on me that the idea of a festival in our hometown might just be the fix to remind our wonderful community how to be together. I've been beat up by the left. I've been beat up by the right. I refuse to make it a political event. It is an event for our community. It is an event for our neighbors. It is an event for our families. It's also an eco-forward event. We are clear that we are on indigenous land, and we like to keep our land and parks cleaner than we found it. We don't use any single-use plastics. We encourage we require all of our food vendors to use compostable materials so that we don't leave any footprint behind. We are a family-friendly event. We allow children in, 10 and under free, which I can tell you is remarkable for the festival world. We want music to be accessible to families and people of all ages. We also give away hundreds of veteran tickets for free through Vet Tickets. I am a big believer that if you are willing to sign up and possibly give your life for this country, you sure as hell deserve some free entertainment. So we are big fans of our veterans. The other unique thing is that, and I welcome being corrected at any time, but something extra unique and special is, to my knowledge, we are the only independent, female-owned and led festival in the nation of our size and scope right here in Prescott, which I believe falls in line with our long history of Western women of Prescott that have championed and moved the arts forward in this culture. Thank you. A little history, furthermore, is that I started this festival on a very generous personal loan from somebody in our community who understood my vision and understood why I wanted to put a festival up here and why it was so important. So I think it's very fair that you could say I'm a small business owner. I took a very small loan and I've built it into something incredible. The hard thing about events like these is that you have to build it to get the support, but in order to get the support, it's like a chicken and egg situation at all times. My entertainment lawyer actually laughed me off the phone and said, Candace, I'm negotiating a $35 million festival, and it's looking like you have a budget of 1% of that, and so good night and good luck. And he ended up attending the second year going, I can't believe you've done it. And so I'm very proud of the fact that I've been able to get the festival to this point. But at this point, I need a little support. As we've all seen through our economy, through inflation, festivals historically this year have suffered. An NPR article recently said that over 60 festivals shut down just in Europe alone, another 50 or so in the United States, all in this last year, because of rising costs of infrastructure, labor, and all of the things that it takes to bring a festival to Watson Lake. I'd like to show you now a short video that is a compilation of the last 3 years. I don't believe any of you have been able to attend, although the invitation is always open. We would love to have you. Here is Pure Imagination Festival. It'll be followed with a short slide deck, and then I'll be out of your way. So as you can see, it's quite an event. It draws people from near and far. I'd like to bring up our slideshow, if I may, Sarah, walk you through some of the points. Pure Imagination Festival. Which way does this go? Down. Down. Anybody? Thank you.
John, can you guys just click through it for her, please?
Sure. Enhancing quality of life. Who doesn't feel better with some music? That really pretty much sums it up. For our community, we have a large, expansive, generational population here. This is something that we curate so that there's a little something for everybody. We want people of all ages to see what they have in common. We want long-lasting memories to be made. And we want to create cultural enrichment, sight, sound, and an appreciation of our natural landscape. One thing I forgot to say previously was that we invite the Hopi tribe every year to come open the festival gates and do a blessing and a ceremony for our attendees and the park to include them into our event. This is the exciting part. We've had 3 years of a Pure Imagination Festival, which has been 3.5 days. And over 3.5 days, we have brought in with our economic report provided by the city, $2.25 million, which I believe puts us in the top 5, I can safely say, of events in our city. I'm very proud of this. We don't close any streets. We don't ruin the grass on the town square. We don't get in anybody's way. We've stayed very isolated in our little bubble at Watson Lake, and yet people far and wide come, and it's showing in our numbers that they not only come to the festival, but they enjoy our hotels, they use our gas stations, they eat at our restaurants, they go into our shops, and they really participate in the community and the town of Prescott. Job creation and partnerships. The thing that makes this entity so large is that we partner with so many things. For our shuttles, we hire the PUSD school buses and drivers, which they love because it's extra time on their paychecks. We shuttle everybody in to ensure their safety on site. We hire parking crews. We hire off-duty police officers, AZ Rangers, as well as private security. Obviously, we hire local musicians to play on our stages. We hire ticketing, yes, and they're wonderful. We have the best musicians ever. We hire ticketing crews and sales personnel. We hire trash pickup crews, maintenance crews. We hire fencing, local performance artists as well, not just musicians. We have stilt walkers. We have aerialists. We have performance artists and art cars. We hire bartenders, and they love Pure Imagination Festival. I tell you, their tips are probably better than anywhere else. And we hire local artisan vendors. We put up what's called the Prescott Night Market, and we bring in between 38 and 60 local vendors to sell their custom creations on site and create a whole night market, similar to ones that I've visited in Thailand and abroad. We have wellness facilitators. We offer yoga throughout the day and breath work and all kinds of wonderful things for a getaway. We utilize the local kayaking outfitter so that people can experience our beautiful park and go out on the lake during the festival. We do ad buys, radio buys, billboard buys, banner buys. We definitely fund the local economy through advertising and marketing. We also utilize our partnerships with Dignity Health and Lifeline for our medical and ambulances. We have setup crews, cleanup crews, camping manager because we do utilize our camping spots. We have sound, stage, and lighting crews. And of course, Indigenous members of our community, we hire for golf carts, for porta-johns, for catering, and all the infrastructure rentals because although Watson Lake is absolutely stunning and it has been called one of the most magnificent backdrops for a music festival, I have to bring it all in. So that is the only downside is that this event is insanely expensive. We also support a lot of our local graphic design and printing outfitters because we market this festival statewide and to the greater Western United States. Next slide, please. Tourism. Although we have a primary demographic of Prescott proper and then our Quad Cities, we actually bring a third of our audience in from over 90 miles away. And that audience includes Sedona, Flagstaff, Phoenix, Tucson, Chandler, Nevada, California, New Mexico, Colorado, New York, Oregon, Hawaii, and Alaska. We've had attendees from all over who love Prescott. And I can tell you just as an addition, our artists as well. Every year we get feedback from our artists that say, had I known I was coming to such a friendly, remarkable place, such a beautiful environment, I certainly would have come a few days ahead of time and stayed a few days later and really soaked it all in. The good news is many of them have volunteered that they're coming back to enjoy Prescott. So we are really making a splash within the arts and culture community, that Prescott is a wonderful place to visit and a wonderful place of human community and consciousness. Community, here's an example, and this is not all of them, with the businesses and community members that we partner with. We really make a strong effort to be in the community with our local businesses, as well as some of the larger corporations. And this slide pretty much says it all. We want this to be something that represents Prescott as a whole, not only as a music festival, but as a place that our business owners can feel comfortable advertising and representing their products as well. I have needs, and that is why I'm here today. Although we have made quite a success of the last 3 years, we broke even the first 2 years, and last year we had a really hard financial year. We did not come close to breaking even. There are a number of reasons for that. Economy is probably the primary one. When people feel that market prices have gone up and gas prices have gone up and rents have gone up and things of those nature, expendable cash becomes a lot more limited. Although we did have the largest turnout that we've had yet, we had over 6,500 attendees. We also went really big. We wanted to make a 2-day festival. In the festival realm, most festivals that have any prominence are 2 days or longer. And so we felt it was appropriate to go for some growth to really establish this festival in Northern Arizona as a holding stake to the arts and culture movement of this part of the state. There are 3 pretty large festivals in the southern part of the state, being Innings Fest, M3F, and another festival in Tucson called Dusk. But we are quite literally the only festival of Northern Arizona of our prominence. And I wanted to ensure that that would continue by creating some growth. Unfortunately, although we had wonderful attendance and an incredible experience, we didn't break even on our budgeting. And so this year, I am not very good at asking for help, but some wise people once told me that there is no shame in asking for help. And I've been so proud of what we've been able to do for the community that I would like to ask for some help from the city, because I know we're in partnership with other events that also do wonderful things for the city that do get some support. I would like to ask for $75,000 for the next 3 years. That will help offset the cost of bringing in all the stages and the infrastructure, which I can really tell you are double and a half of that. But any help is help, and I welcome it. I would also like to ask that perhaps you'd consider waiving my park fees and trash fees for Watson Lake. And lastly, my biggest hurdle in putting on this event is the parking situation. I want everybody to be safe, but Watson Lake itself does not have enough parking for the amount of attendees we have. I've gotten very creative the last 3 years, spreading my parking out between private lots here and there, and it becomes a little bit of a hindrance to the attendee. It also makes my bus routes a little more difficult for the PUSD buses because they're all navigating between multiple lots. So I'd encourage the city to help me find 1,500 to 3,000 spots that I can count on every year, where I can park people safely and just run a few shuttles that go from one point to the festival and back without people being confused about what lots they're at or what's happening. If I can secure the parking, I think, for the attendee experience and for our locals, it will maintain an ease for the festival that will encourage people to come and enjoy. Next slide, please. This is just to give you a sense of our past lineups. It's in a curated, eclectic lineup every year. My goal really is to provide a little something for everyone so that there is this reason to show up and be with your neighbors, to find places where you didn't even know you have commonalities. I have a great photo, actually, of 4 cowboys in their belt buckles and hats standing next to a Prescott College student and a retiree, all in the same photo, dancing to this incredible artist that had just won the NPR Tiny Desk. His name was Fantastic Negrito. He's a blues artist. And the picture really says it all. These are, by any other terms, you could look at these folks and size them up as 3 very different groups of people, very different interests. And yet here they are in Prescott, Arizona, enjoying an artist, forgetting everything that they don't agree on, and reminding themselves how to be side by side, enjoying something they do agree on. Yeah. I really wanted to, thank you. I really wanted to keep it short and sweet because I know you don't appreciate long-winded folks. So that is my presentation. I am really honored to be here today, and I thank you for your leadership with our city, and I thank you for your open mind. And if you would consider moving these items to a vote at the nearest time possible, it helps me. I'm trying to get our lineups ready for next year, and any support I can garner at this point would help me move it along. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Candace. Councilman Deborde, you had a question or a comment?
Candace, thank you for what you do for the community. I've been sitting on council for almost a year, and with all due respect to those who preceded you, that's the most compelling presentation I've heard. Thank you.
Any other comments or concerns from council? Again, thank you, Candace, and That's quite a remarkable evolution of a festival starting off with a wing and a prayer, right?
That's pretty much it.
Congratulations.
A lot of help from the community. I want to say that.
We'll be considering your requests. Thank you. Okay, we'll now move on to the proclamation.
Prescott Astronomy Day, September 28th, 2024.
And Councilman Moore, you were planning on presenting that?
All right. If there's anybody else associated with the Prescott Astronomy Club, you're welcome to come forward and join us. Hi, Daryl. All right. Why don't you come on up here because they're going to do some pictures too. This is a proclamation from the Mayor and Council, Prescott Astronomy Day, September 28th, 2024. Bear with me. Whereas the Prescott Astronomy Club, established in 1974 and dedicated to educating and sharing the joy of astronomy with the citizens of the greater Prescott area, is celebrating its 50th year. And whereas the Prescott Astronomy Club cultivates interest in astronomy and space science through public education and community outreach, collaborating with local institutions such as Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Prescott Public Library, Museum of Indigenous People, and Highland Center for Natural History. And whereas the Prescott Astronomy Club co-sponsors a monthly meeting series with the Prescott Public Library, bringing in over 300 speakers from nearby universities and organizations, including Lowell Observatory, Northern Arizona University, Arizona State University, University of Arizona, the Vatican Observatory in Tucson, and USGS, to present astronomical topics and space mission updates that have included Voyager 1 and 2, Halley's Comet, the Hubble Space Telescope, and the James Webb Space Telescope. Pardon me. And whereas the Prescott Astronomy Club has created and led science lessons for schools to augment their astronomy curriculum, and whereas the Prescott Astronomy Club has sponsored over 500 star parties for the public, for Kiwanis Key Club camps, Girl Scouts, local businesses, various area schools and churches, and whereas the Prescott Astronomy Club has provided special viewings of solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, and other astronomical events to the public, and whereas the Prescott Astronomy Club works to raise public awareness and help protect dark skies, a natural resource to the greater Prescott area. Now, therefore, Phil Good, Mayor of the City of Prescott, in recognition for their dedication to educate our community about astronomy, does hereby proclaim September 28th, 2024 as Prescott Astronomy Day. We encourage all citizens to thank the members of the Prescott Astronomy Club as they continue to reach out and educate the public, provide information about astronomical events and phenomena, provide updates of current space missions, and to preserve the natural night sky, an important natural resource. We would like to present your organization with a proclamation signed by the mayor. Thank you. Do you want to say anything?
Yes, please.
Please. Take your time.
This other way?
Sure, that would be good.
Oh, you guys. It was just a few months ago when we were digging through our archives that we discovered that we're 50 years old. But from the beginning, we've had the same mission of outreach and education of the community, had the same motto. And to see this continue for 50 years is quite something. We have 3 events that we're having this week. I mean, this is quite an event here. We certainly appreciate the acknowledgement of the city to our contribution. It's not as big as theirs, but okay.
We support you too.
Well, come out. Like we say, one of our major things besides the speaker series at the public library is star parties. And the reaction of people seeing Saturn or Jupiter or something spectacular like that for the first time through a telescope is about the same whether you're 5 or 95. And it's usually wow. Okay, they can't believe they see something like that. So this week, tomorrow night, we're having a star party out at the Highlands Center for Natural History. Saturday night, we're having our party. We're actually going to have kind of a 50th celebration at the Hasayampa. And a week from Wednesday, which is October 2nd, our keynote speaker is Father Corbally from the Vatican Observatory in Tucson. If you haven't heard him, he's a very dynamic and popular speaker. But please, everybody's invited to come to a star party and enjoy the natural resource that we have here in Prescott, and that's our dark skies.
So one of the things that the Prescott Astronomy Club has been doing for 50 years has been outreach to the public. It's why they started. They wanted to share their telescopes and their technology at the time with the residents of Prescott and the area. And to this day, we continue that type of outreach. And if it's okay, I'm going to approach council members and the mayor and give to you our current outreach sort of trinket. These are free telescopes. And I'll speak loudly, but everybody will get a free telescope. We give these to kids, children, anybody that wants one. I designed it and I printed on my 3D printer. And I've given out hundreds of these. I don't want them to church, you guys can have them. I've given out hundreds of these. The kids take them home. And the reason that we do this is because we want kids to talk about what's out there. We want kids to appreciate what their world is and what they're going to grow up in. And we want to spark their interest in the night sky. And so even if you don't want, I would encourage you to take it and give it to a young one and tell them to get out and look up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now we'll move on to the open call to the public.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Prescott welcomes public engagement. Residents may comment and address the council regarding items that are not included on the posted agenda during the call to the public. If you wish to speak, please complete a green speaker card and submit it to me prior to the meeting being convened. As a reminder, speakers are limited to 4 minutes, and the call to the public will be limited to 40 minutes in total, with the following stipulations. Citizens will be limited to addressing the council on the same topic only 4 times in total. If a topic has been addressed more than 5 times by different speakers, the mayor may limit future discussion on the topic, and topics of a primarily national concern may be limited at the discretion of the mayor. I do have one comment card, and it is from Robert Betts.
I realize I'm 2 weeks late, but it took me that long to figure out between blue cards and green cards. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. I am Bob Betts, resident of Hidden Valley Ranch. I wanted to thank Barry Barbie for his September 9th article in the Daily Courier asking this council to re-examine the language associated with Proposition 478. This council took the actions requested and changed the language and the handling of the 0.95% transaction tax for the funding of capital improvements and operating personnel of our public safety departments. 8 years ago, as chairman of the Wildland Urban Interface Commission, or Yavapai Firewise as some refer to it, I stood here with Sherry and Linda, along with our beloved Billy Orr and Steve Shishka, on the organizing board for Prop 443. As you recall, Prescott was burdened with an $80+ million shortfall in the retirement system for fire and police personnel. It was promised the 0.75% tax would be repealed when we reached 10 years or when the balance of the underfunded liability fell to $1.5 million. And it did. In just 5 years, the city kept its promise to the people of Prescott. Today, I'm urging the people of Prescott to pass the amended ordinance on the ballot with its new language and separate accounting for taxes collected under Proposition 478. City management, and in particular the Finance Department under Mark Woodfill, kept the promise to retire the transaction privilege tax under Prop 443. Promises made, promises kept. To our council members and the good people of Prescott, I ask that we trust them again with this necessary funding for our public safety departments. Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
We'll move on to our consent agenda. We have 4 items here. Does anybody wish to pull an item off of consent? Hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion on the remaining items.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve items 9A through D on the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Mayor Pro Tem? Yes. Thank you. Passes 6-0.
Very good. We'll move on to our regular agenda item 10A.
WSA 24-041, a water service application submitted by Augie on behalf of owner Espire Sports LLC, location APN 102-03-598P, comprising 6.97 acres in T14N R01W, Section 31 Southwest 14.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Brian Reese. I'm the Water Resources Environmental Services Manager for the City Public Works Department. Yes, and today I have WSA 24041, Augie's Restaurant water service application. So this proposed development is going to be going into the Espire Sports Complex within the mall off of East State Route 69. So it kind of shows a representation of where the Espire is in the mall in total, and the Augie's Restaurant will be subletting a portion of this area for their new restaurant. The restaurant was previously located in the Frontier Village Shopping Center. So it's being relocated. So utilizing our water resource management model, we were able to see that the average water use for the Augie's Restaurant's been about 2.35 acre feet per year. And then based on the restaurant size and utilizing restaurants in the area from the water resource management model, we've been able to, we are estimating a demand in the new location of 1.67 acre feet per year. And the restaurant's about 6,340 square feet, which is actually bigger than the old location. But the difference is mainly made up in the fact that there's not going to be any more outdoor water use at this location. I believe we have the owner of the restaurant is here. So if you have any questions on this, but basically we're looking at the water service application, requesting a 1.67 acre feet per year on this. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to try to answer.
So is the applicant present? Augie, come on up. Would you like to share with us your plans for that facility? I know you're having some expectation that there'll be additional meeting rooms and some catering going on in addition to the restaurant itself, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so the restaurant, well, first of all, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. It'll be similar to what I had before, full service, upscale, casual restaurant serving lunch and dinner. And we'll also provide banquet service. So we're anxious to move forward. Our plans have been submitted for the building permit, so we're anxiously awaiting that and hoping to open shortly after that.
Can you describe the banquet facilities and what the capacity will be?
There'll be 2 banquet rooms, and one will be able to accommodate 250 to 275 people, and the second smaller one can accommodate 50 to about 70 people. And they adjoin the restaurant, but also adjoin the fitness facilities under that roof.
Well, you certainly have a great reputation in our community with Augie's itself and Rock Springs Cafe as well. So I'm looking forward to this facility, and boy, we really need that size of banquet facilities. We have small facilities, and we have, really one large one to choose from in the area. So being able to fill that gap is going to be very valuable. Any other questions or comments? Councilmember Rusing?
Thank you. I would just like to say that this application was reviewed by the water. This WSA application was reviewed by the WIS Community Committee, Water Issues I'm sorry. And it passed unanimously.
Councilman Moore?
Thank you, Mayor. I was at Espire Sports last night for an event and noticed that your signs are already on the building. They look great. And I just want to congratulate you and thank you for bringing your business into the boundaries of the Prescott city limits. I know you were in the Frontier Village before, but we didn't get that tax revenue. So we appreciate that you're going to be in the city and we'll be able to collect sales tax revenue from your endeavors, and really wish you success in your new location. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Good luck, Augie. I'm really happy to hear this. So with that said,
Mayor?
I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve WSA 24-041.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any public comment or any other
No public
comment from the
Mayor.
council? No, please vote then.
Mayor, are you a yes on this?
Yes.
Thank you. Passes 6-0.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Augie.
All right, I think we'll have Brian again. This is for WSA 24-049, water service application submitted by Distinctive Homes and Architecture on behalf of owners Dave and Kristen Deborde. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Location APN 102-03-061, comprising 1.3 acres in T15N R02W, Section 25 NE14.
Yeah, so here's our second water service application for your consideration today. This property is located just south of the airport in the airport industrial complex area off of Cirrus Drive. The proposed project consists of approximately 3,000 square foot building, and this building will be used to manufacture concrete blocks and pavers for landscape use. The applicant provided a demand analysis for this proposed project. That demand analysis utilized manufacturing information available from the manufacturer who provides the equipment that is used to create the blocks. And based off of that, those estimates, the demand for this project was estimated at 1.85 acre feet per year for the indoor use on the facility. The project itself, it's a little hard to see on this, sorry, it's a little bit small, but there's going to be limited landscape. There'll be a requirement for landscape buffer along Cyrus Drive. And according to the applicant and the applicant's architect, they'll be utilizing only that space for outdoor landscape and irrigation. The rest of the site will be utilized for parking, storage of equipment and such. So it'll be very limited landscape use on this. Based on our estimates, using a 1.5 acre foot per year per acre of landscape. We're estimating only 0.05 acre feet of water for the landscaping. That gives a total demand for this project of 1.9 acre feet per year. And as Councilmember Roosing had described in the last one, this project was heard by the Water Issues Subcommittee on September 3rd and was passed unanimously to go for approval and consideration by the council as a whole. We do have the architect for the applicant is here if there's any questions that he can answer, and I would be happy to try to answer any questions also.
Councilman Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to voice a concern. It seems that the initial demand for indoor use for the manufacturing of pavers and blocks is very low, but I'm concerned that maybe 5 years from now or 10 years from now, as their business grows, they might want to ramp up production and start providing blocks for a wider audience, maybe to Nevada or Las Vegas or a bigger market. And I could see their water demand going up, but we're only approving this amount. It kind of reminds me of the pure wafer issue that we were discussing like a year ago, where they were using X amount of water and they came back to us and said, we want to up production and we want a lot more water now. Mm-hmm. So I just want to raise that issue. How do we handle that if down the road they come back and say, we really want to increase more production and we need more water?
Yeah, so at this point in time, we don't really have a procedure for coming back because we don't really put water under contract. I'm not sure if the architect has helped us. Well, I got Gwen here, so I'll let her speak.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Gwen Rowich, Public Works Director. So I'd like to just say that Pure Wafer is a different. The city does have a contract for Pure Wafer, and it had a clause in it for expansion of their facility. So at the time the city gave them water, they contemplated future water uses in the development agreement. This is a different kind of scenario where we have a small business owner coming to the city. They'd like to start their business. Obviously, we'd all like them to be wildly successful. Should they choose to expand their business in some way, they would have to come back to council and ask for additional water, just like they're asking for water today, and they'd be subject to the water policy that's in place at the time that they do that. So while we don't have a one hat fits all for that, any business that expands has to go through a building permit process that triggers the water review, and then the staff either approves it administratively or we come back through a process like this, depending on what the policy says at the time that they request it. So we do have procedures and things in place for those kinds of scenarios.
Thank you. I appreciate that explanation. I guess my only concern was if they could expand their water usage within their original footprint, but you're saying if they expand their footprint, then they have to come back. So I guess we're looking at maybe possible two scenarios.
Potentially that's true, but we do monitor water use through the worm. And who knows what future policies will look like as it relates to water. I mean, I can honestly tell you in the 18 years I've been here, I don't have enough fingers to tell you how many times it changed. So we'll address that when that happens.
Thank you, Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's certainly hope this new small business is successful and that they do well and expand their business and their customers. And I think anticipating how to deal with growth and success in our small business community is something that we could apply to our water policy to be able to contemplate that and be able to manage it as it continues to grow. So it is in the proper zoning location, and I support being able to develop a new facility like this, and I just hope that they do monitor the low water use plant palette that's available to them. A lot of times I see new businesses that hire a landscape architect and they don't bother to check what the plant palette is to be able to utilize what limited landscaping is needed, and then to make sure it's has a very minimal impact on their water demand. Councilmember Roosing?
I would just like to add that this is a very unique business. The applicant apparently is a landscaper, architectural design business where he wants to make his own custom blocks for his jobs. So I think that he won't be, becoming like Yavapai Blocks someday, that this is just going to be for his own personal needs and personal business. And I hope he does a wonderful job landscaping his property out at the industrial park. Thank you.
Do we have any public comment?
We do not, Mayor.
All right, having no other comments from the council, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve WSA 24-049.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 6-0.
Item 10C.
Presentation, public hearing, and discussion regarding comments for the CDBG Program Year 2023 Consolidated Annual Performance Report.
All right. Afternoon, Mr. Mayor or Council. This is Michael McGinnis. I'm with the Community Development Department. I'm your CDBG coordinator. And today we're talking about the CAPER, which is our Consolidated Annual Performance Report, which is required from HUD. Basically what this is our end of program year report telling HUD how we did. So this report will be submitted to HUD after today's public hearing. It's not a voting item. It's just closing a public hearing. There has been a public comment period for the last 15 days where the report, which is in your packet, has been available in the library as well as the Community Development Department front desk and online at the city's website. So how did we do last year, program year 2023? This spreadsheet kind of gives you the breakdown of everything that was spent on CDBG. You can see there is still a current balance. The last three items on the spreadsheet are all construction projects. I can speak to those. The NASCAR New Hope Wellness Center just started construction on the rehabilitation of their mental health treatment center and traditional living space that started, I think, 2 weeks ago. Expectation is probably in the next 60 days it's complete. The U.S. Vets Officers Quarters, that has been going on for a while. They haven't broke ground yet. But from my understanding, within the next 90 days, we should be getting really close. And then also the minor home repair program, you see a balance in there because we just spent the previous year's balance. So there's some money in there for them to continue to use from this program year. Any questions on this side? Highlights of our program year 2023 CDBG program, what you see up on the slide.
Hey, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Moore had a question.
Yes.
I was just curious, do those funds carry over then? If they don't get expended in the budget year, they get to carry them over?
That's correct, Councilman Moore. What you see is the public service activities, they want that spent within the year by June 30th. They'll give a 90-day window. Construction projects like NASCAR, U.S. Vets, they give you 3 years. Thank you. This is our public service activities that were completed within the last program year. Some of the public service activities are ones that we've seen before in the past: transportation with People Who Care and New Horizons. Community Counts was a new subrecipient from last year. They did a diaper bank and served 561 LMI, or low to moderate income families and individuals. And then the last one there is workforce development initiatives from Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and the Launchpad. Our big project, and this is a 3-year construction project that came to an end, was the Agape House. So we funded them for 3 years, a total of close to $150,000. And over the 3 years, here are some of the rehabilitation projects that they completed. I do have Miss Becky Mitchell with the Agape House here to speak to the project and how it went over the last 3 years. If she'd come up. Thanks.
Hello, Mayor and councilmen and women. First, I just wanted to say thank you. You guys have walked with us for a very long time. 10 years ago, Jerry Jones looked at me and he said, "You're gonna need a lot of money for that, honey." And I looked at him, and we were a vision, and he led, followed by Marianne Suttles, and they gave us $10,000. What do you do with that? Here's $13,000. What do you do with that? And then 5 years ago, we obtained the 9-unit apartment complex. It came to us at a low cost. It was $850,000 when you're considering that houses 14 families every year. I mean, that's a lot. We felt very good with that purchase, but it needed renovations. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for helping us to build decks. We put a roof on, we put HVAC in there. Thank you very much. New doors, new windows, $150,000 is correct. But that was the offspring for what I want to tell you furthermore happened. Because this is an amazing community, this is an amazing town, people wanted to jump in. My windows came and toured the facility and they said, "These windows are rotten." They replaced all the windows for free. But you gave us a little bit of seed money, but then other people jumped in. Lowe's came in and built new staircases. Dorn Homes came in and they did renovations. So we just wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much. Agape House of Prescott, we serve homeless families in crisis. We provide discipleship, mentoring, life skills training, and interim housing. We have found the solution for homelessness to be the 4-phase program Pathway to Independence, which begins with stability and basic needs. We focus on personal wellness, including mental health, emotional stability, and physical health. We teach life skills training so they will never be homeless again. We focus on career coaching. We focus on parenting, budgeting, home organization, time management, which leads to sustainability. We want all of our families to find permanent housing, reliable transportation, and schooling and childcare. But don't just see a building when you look at those numbers today. I want you to see lives changed. 170 people have lives forever changed. When Jerry Jones began this with our journey many years ago, and I miss him, we had one lady, and she was a mother, and she said, it was a Friday night. I was doing very bad things in a very bad place with very bad people. She said, no more. She got up, threw a towel in. Her friends looked at her and laughed and said, "Oh yeah, honey, we'll see you next week." She never went back. She had options. She came to Agape House of Prescott. Today, not only is she works at my eye doctor, because we teach good skills. She has 4 grown children. She has grandchildren. So not only was her life changed, but her 4 children, and then these grandchildren who are still in town. It's so beautiful to see that. Recently, I visited with one graduate, and she said, before Agape House, I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do. She said, but after Agape House, I never dreamt it could have been this good. We were sitting in the living room in a very clean, organized apartment, which she had recently obtained. One baby was sleeping in the back room, and her kid was sleeping on the floor. These are the people who are homeless. 11 years old, babies, mothers with children fleeing domestic violence, trauma, childcare. We have to find a place to relieve these. So today, I just want to say thank you, because you have made a significant impact in the lives of 170 individuals. He did show a report, and I would like to hand it out. Is it okay if I hand this out? Thank you, everybody, but not just today. For the last 10 years, 3 years we've been doing the construction project, but you've walked with us. And it's amazing to see these children, these families. 110 children were in tents and campgrounds and sheds and garages. That's where they sleep at night before they come to Agape House. We're not pulling druggies off of the streets. We're pulling off children. They need a second chance. Thank you. And I know that this guy here works so hard. And at Agape House, our families work hard. And I like to say it's 7 headaches for every success, but it's always worth every single one. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the solution.
Well, I know that Mayor Pro Tem and I were on the mayor's committee for structured sober living homes many years ago. And we know we had many bad actors in the community that were taking advantage of many of these individuals that were being housed in these homes and taken advantage of. But Agape House, I think, is one of those organizations that really does what we would hope that all of them could do. And that's to be able to have legitimate recovery and bring people that have faith and great intentions and be able to support them in recovering and becoming productive members of our community. So thank you, Becky, and thanks for the CDBG ongoing support of that organization, and hopefully we can find a few more to support along their path. Councilmember Roosing?
Thank you. Is it too late to amend this or add some changes?
It's a draft document, so comments
okay.
are being taken
Okay,
here in
thank
this
you.
public hearing.
Yeah. One thing that people may not know is, our public library is a wonderful resource for newcomers, homeless, people in need. And, you talk about the city of Prescott and resources that we offer, but I don't see any mention of our library. And I know they had a person at one time who was part-time dedicated to helping people in need and help veterans. For example, if somebody needed a bicycle to get to work, they would help them achieve that. So I would just ask that maybe you check with our new library director, or maybe Roger, our old one, and maybe include something in this report about how much our library does for the community. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. Becky, I wanted to say something too. So many years ago, I served on the Homeless Solutions Committee, as well as the Block Grant, the CDBG Committee, and the Sober Living Homes Committee. And we have a lot of charities in this town, but I have to say, not all of them run correctly. So my hat's off to you. I know you've turned a square corner, and I've watched you from afar, and I do remember you coming back initially with a dream. And I remember what Jerry said. So when people like you leave the room that day, we just never know which avenue it's going to go down. But, if you turn a square corner, you're going to be rewarded. And that's exactly what happened, I think, for you. So thank you.
Thank you, son.
Any other questions or concerns from council? Do we have any public comment?
We do not, Mayor.
I don't know.
So we just need a motion to close the public hearing if council doesn't have any further questions.
Mr. Mayor, I move to close the public hearing for 2023 CDBG CAPER.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Thank you.
Passes 6-0.
That concludes our agendized business today. When we have our next council meeting, the ballots will have been mailed to the voters in our community. And I certainly hope that all those voters will do their homework so they can understand this vast ballot and the number of propositions and candidates on it. And I think I'm reminded of a quote from Thomas Jefferson. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free, it expects what never was and never will be. So do your homework, be educated voters, and vote. This meeting is adjourned.